welcome to my channel. This is Glitter and Reverie. You can call me Rev for short. And it's a little late to do this, but I've had things come up. I wanted to do a year in review because I think that they're fun to watch, and I figured it would be a good first video. Maybe we'll see if we do any more of these. So if you're like, it's too late for this, I don't care, don't watch it. But I just wanted to show off the diamond paintings that I've finished this year. This is some of them. Yes, I do keep the wrappers on them, but I'm just going to show you them quickly one by one, go over some of the notes that I had for them, and yeah, that'll be that. So let me clear these and then we'll go in order chronologically. Okay, so this is the first diamond painting that I've finished in 2025. This is 9 Lives by Christopher Lavelle. It is the first and only Christopher Lavelle that I've done. It's huge. It doesn't fit in camera, so excuse me while it takes forever to show this off. There's the top part, and then there's the bottom. So lots of fun for this one, some frustrations for sure. All right, so let me go over. So I started this on December 6th, 2024, and finished it on January 25th, 2025. It is 70 by 99 centimeters, so it is pretty big. And honestly, it didn't take me as long as it could have. There was a lot more color blocking than you would think in this, I think. And there's also a limited color. But in terms of enjoyment, I gave it a 6 out of 10 for a few reasons. And this, of course, can't be helped because it's diamond painting and whatnot, but I didn't like some of the color choices that was charted into this. I think it definitely looks great from afar, but up close it's kind of hard to enjoy. The saturation on a lot of this is what threw me off the most. So if you look at the kind of like original like thumbnail of the picture, like you can see like all like the blue like splotches in her skin. It kind of looks like dried paint and whatnot, but when it's in diamond painting form, it just kind of looks not like dried paint. It just looks like weird blue splotches. So I didn't like the choice in like the saturated colors that they had. I know there's limitations and this is a bit of an older kit, but whatever. The other thing that I didn't like were the choice of skin tone colors. So as we can see here, like her face is very like more of like a grayish, like still should be a skin color, it's just in shadow. And they do an okay job at this, but it's just a very stark contrast, and it kind of is very stripy. So let me see if I can show you a little bit better. But yeah, so you can see it's very stripy the way that it looks. And then also like there's like the brightness on this is more of like a pinkish yellow, whereas everything else is more of like a grayish green. So it just is very out of place. And then there's some blue here. So the color choices don't really work very well. So this was a disappointment, and then so was the fingers here. I also personally don't care for ABs and whiskers, but it's cute enough, and overall I did enjoy it. So let me grab the next one here. So the next piece I finished in 2025 was Freya, Goddess of Beauty and War by Bug. At this point, was probably one of my favorite pieces or favorite diamond paintings that I've done. I think I loved most the just like the bottom of this, weirdly enough, was my favorite. I also did really enjoy the way that Diamond Art Club rendered her her outfit. But yeah, so this one was a really fun one. There was a lot of color blocking in it, of course, on the sides, but surprisingly enough, there is also a lot of confetti. So like there are multiple shades of like blues and blacks on the sides. So it worked up very quickly and easily, but also was still very interesting. Let's see the stats on this. So I started this somewhere around January 31st. I didn't actually like really write a specific date. And then I finished it February 18th. So just a couple weeks really to finish this. This one was really quick. And I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty average in terms of like speed. This had 67 colors. It was 55.8 by 85.6 centimeters. So still fairly decent sized, but not as big as the last one. For enjoyment, I gave this a 9 out of 10. I really loved the special drill placement. For me, it's really hard to get sick of all the blues, and I also loved the amount of like purple that was in this. Purple is my favorite color, but it's really difficult to like make purple look good in certain things. And so I really liked that. The only thing I didn't like truly care for were like the pink dots necessarily. I know in the original image you can't see it in this because the thumbnail is so small, but in the original like picture you can see like, you know, pink motes and stuff like that, to use other people's terms that they say. But on the canvas itself, it just kind of feels like pixelated splotches, so I would have preferred a more cleaner look, but I didn't feel like going back and redoing that or recharting. So, but again, this was like 9 out of 10. Beautiful. So I absolutely loved this. I would love to do a Bug again in the future, but I'm really picky about my images, so we'll see. Let me get the next one. Okay, so the next thing I finished were the Snakes Mini Dazzle Kit. So I started these February 24th, 2025 and ended in March 12th. So these are all of the snakes that were part of the kit. And I don't know why I kept these, but I think I wanted to protect them as they like rub together. But so these are all of the snakes. So there's ball python, milk snake, garter snake, the tiger keelback, the green tree python, and the Indian cobra. I gave this a 6 out of 10. I am a bit of an animal nerd, especially like snakes and reptiles. And so the reason why I rated this so low is I didn't actually enjoy the random placement of crystals in some of the snakes, and it's inconsistent. Like this one doesn't have like any, this one has, you know, quite a bit, but they're not like full stripes either. This one has some, these do not, and of course it makes sense that the ones that don't have them, but it doesn't make sense why the ones that do have them necessarily. So I didn't like that. I also did not like also, this is so weird. Like he's got 2 eyes on the side of his head and then also a crystal drill in the middle. Again, it doesn't make sense. And also like the eyes just really make them look derpy, kind of. Like, this doesn't look right to have eyes on the side of the snake head. I don't know. So that really threw me off. The eyes and the crystal placement. Otherwise, they're mini dazzles. They're cute. Everything is sparkly. It's great. So I gave this a 6 out of 10. All right, let me get you the next one. Okay, so this next one, you're going to have to bear with me here. You are not going to see the whole thing at one time. So this behemoth is Thumbelina by LiQWYD, is how I'm going to guess that we're going to say her name. So as everything shows here, this is going to slip off my desk. That's okay. This was my first Jaded Gem Shop painting, and I fell in love with this image so fast. Thumbelina is one of my favorite movies from childhood and still today as a full-fledged adult. I started this kit February 21st, 2025, ended it May 31st, so it took me a good 3 months to do it. This is 80 centimeters by 110 centimeters, so it is absolutely massive. And I'll try to like pan over it later, like, or maybe I'll do like some B-roll or something. We'll figure out how to do that. There's 80 colors that were charted into this. I asked for glimmer and glimmer and ABs as well. So I got 3 glimmer drills and 4 ABs added into it. And then I also added 2 more fairy dust colors. And I didn't use one of the ABs that came with it, or that like Jade recommended. I gave this a 9.5 out of 10. It for you might be a confetti nightmare, because that is all that it is. It's just pure confetti. It is one of the hybrid charts or whatever. But I absolutely loved it so much. I think it is just so beautiful, with the original image being like so light and watercolory. I figured like hybrid charting is definitely the way to go. I would almost love to see this, like, part of me wants to redo this and try to chart it myself as I go, but also that sounds like a nightmare, so I'm not going to. But it was an actual dream. I loved the kit. I loved the like the charting was great. I added extra specials, so I added some extra like in the butterfly. I added a bunch in the flower, and again, I am failing to show this off. But it's just so beautiful, and I kind of like I don't have any other words other than to say that this was massive. It took forever. I would do it again if I could. I would not change anything. Yeah, she's gorgeous. I love her. So this was Thumbelina by LiQWYD. All right, I'm gonna get this out of the way and bring up the next canvas. All right, so the next canvas that I have for you is Nemesis. I'm gonna try to move a little bit more quickly here because this is already taking forever. But this is Nemesis by Emily Gerige, which is how you would say her name. She's also known as Sakuems. I've been actually following her on YouTube for a really long time. But anyway, so this is Nemesis. She was a Black Friday 2024 purchase. Yes, my first ever Black Friday from Diamond Art Club. And also so was Freya. I didn't mention that earlier. But yeah, so this is her in her full glory. This piece came out pretty well. I did have some hiccups. I also did some extra enhancements. So I started this June 2nd, ended it July 2nd, so 1 month flat, which is surprising for how big it is, which is 65 centimeters by 90.8 centimeters. So yeah, she's big, but there was a lot of like color blocking and some line blocking and stuff like that, so that helped it move pretty quickly. Some of the charting was a little bit off that I didn't like. I'll try to remember to insert some pictures so you can see, but essentially, so like I recharted a lot of right here. So her teeth originally, there was just like two white things, and then the rest were kind of whatever. So it looked like she had kind of more buck teeth than a slightly open smile. So I just added 2 drills here to even it out, and it looked so much better. The nose was really strange looking, and it kind of looked like it had like extra pieces to it, and it was really yellow and like brown. So it didn't look good. So I recharted that. I added extra specials, so I added extra ABs in some of the outline and the bubbles. I added some extra like crystals to her eyes. I added some extra, I think, metallics. Yes, because those weren't charted. No, some of them were charted, some of them weren't. So some of these were in there, and some of these I added. I think I added these ones. I definitely added a bunch of crystal and fairy dust in here, just to like really make the crystal pop. I loved the use of like the special drills here. I thought that was great. The one thing that I didn't like, besides like those 2 parts of the face, is the charting in the tail. So this purple that's charted, which I can't remember. I think it's like 3041 that's in there. Yeah, anyway, I think it's 3041 or something. But it's a very grayish purple. And so next to all of these vibrant and like jewel tone colors, this looks a lot more like gray, brown, and dull than if it were paired next to other colors. So some color theory, colors change when they're next to other colors, and so it looks great in like the foliage up here, like in like the skirt of her or like the waist of her tail, but it looks so off here. I really think a different color would have been great. I just didn't have the color that I would have wanted to put in there, so I didn't rechart it. But I really think that if you ever do this, or if you have this, I would recommend looking for a different purple in here if you can, just so it doesn't look so dull, because if you look at even the thumbnail from DAC, like it's still like very like reddish purplish. It's not, like everything is still vibrant, so it just looks off compared to like everything else. But otherwise, overall 7 out of 10 for Nemesis. I enjoyed it. I recommend it if you have it. But if you do it, rechart the face a little bit. It'll make you happy. All right, so let me grab the next one. All right, so the next one I did was Never Alone by Enes Guerrero. This is, I mean, most of these are like my first ever from these like people. But this, I loved this so much when it came out. I don't have a lot of like love at first looks with images, which we can definitely talk about in like a future video. But like, I loved the pink hair, I loved the raven, I loved the lattice kind of window in the background, I loved the witch, I loved this, and even and the cat is hilarious too. But I I just absolutely adored this. And I knew it would be like the perfect thing for me to do. So yeah, I started this July 3rd, finished it July 31st. So less than a month. It was, like I said, so much fun. Added a couple of special drills in like the eyes just to give the cat's eyes a little bit more sparkle. But everything else, I left the same, I think. There's a perfect balance, I would say, of like confetti and color blocking, and like some line blocking as well. At least for me, it was. It looks like a lot of confetti, but there was a lot. I think it's more like line blocking, and I really like that. And honestly, like, I think the window was my favorite part of it. Like, it was just so pretty. Anyway, so that's that. The only thing that I was like a little bit off about was some of the coloring on the skin. I feel like that seems to be Diamond Art Club's biggest weakness, is getting good color, like skin tone colors. So like here we have like, it's very like brown, and then like a bright pink, and then a very like pale color, and then white. So just the transition is a little bit strange there, and you can see that a little bit here as well. And then in the face, like, and in the image itself, like, she has a very like pallid skin tone. Like there are a little bit of pinks, but it's more of like a coral pink than anything. So it's just a little bit off, but again, whatever. One cool thing about this, excluding any minis that I've done, if we do minis, I'd have to recount everything, but this would be my 10th diamond painting, full-size diamond painting finish ever. And yeah, so I loved this one. Oh, and I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I'm a pretty generous rater, but I also only do kits that I know I'm going to enjoy. So yeah. All right, let me show you the next one. All right, so the next one is another big one. You may be sensing a theme. I like big kits, and I cannot lie. But this is Levitating Spell by Rita Konya, or Aria Illustrations. Again, first one I've ever done from her. Sorry for the shaky cam. It's just, you know, whatever. But I loved this also. I think this came out around the same time as the N.S. Guerrero one. I loved the books. I thought the plants were really cute. The witch, of course, is the most adorable. And yeah, I just loved everything about this upon seeing it. So I knew that I would have to get it. This is where I really learned and realized that line blocking is my favorite thing ever. Like if there's like these parts here, and like the books and like the shelves and like all the background was so wonderful to get through. Like I just zipped through that, but it was still interesting because there was a lot of still color changing, but you could color change quickly, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I absolutely loved this. I enjoyed the crystals in here. I think they're called like luminescent drills or something, but whatever. I enjoyed that. I did make a couple changes. I had to fix a couple of pixels in her like finger / in the book. I don't remember how it was charted before, but it kind of made it look like her finger was like sticking through the book, or like the book was cutting into the finger and not like that it was like supporting the spine. So I did change that. I think I added in a couple of like A-B drills in some of the candles, so it was like shining as the wax is melting kind of thing. And then I also added some special drills in the little potion bottles, because potions have to be magical. So that is what I did there. I also gave this a 9.5 out of 10. And oh, I also added, since I did this one right after the Ennis Guerrero one, I had some leftover gray fairy dust drills, so I added them to the feather as well. But that's about all that I did with this. I absolutely loved this one. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. The next one that I show you here is gonna surprise you with my thoughts on it. This is, I know, a fan favorite. This is Anethel by Margaret Morales. I started this sometime at the beginning of March. I can't remember exactly when, and finished it September 17th. So it took me a while, but here's the shocker. I gave her a 4 out of 10. Bear with me. I had a lot of issues with this. Some of it my fault, some of it others' faults. The artwork is beautiful. The reason why I bought this, I had just started kind of like really watching diamond painting YouTube, and so I kind of like, I saw a lot of people working on this and showing this off and yada yada yada, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so gorgeous. If it restocks, I'm going to get it, and I did. And again, it is gorgeous artwork, but I had issues with the canvas. The canvas was like, the glue especially was not super sticky. There were a lot of dry spots that I had to like reactivate or like add glue and things like that too. There were parts of it that were very slippery, and so drills wouldn't stay on. And so I had a lot of issues with that. And then I also, I wanted to enhance the heck out of this because I love sparkle stuff. That's why part of my name has glitter in it. So I did I've tried to follow the enhancement kit, recommendations from DP with Sparklers. And knowing what I know now, like, a lot of the choices were not choices that I would necessarily do again. So like, while I think the crystal drills in here look pretty cool, I think the choice and the placement of them is not how I would place them in, like, if I were to do it myself. But then again, I would probably want this to be charted into it in a way. The color was a little bit off in some ways, and some of it was like in shadow parts, which I don't think should be like highlighted. And then I did add some extra like crystals to like the wings and stuff, which I thought was actually really nice. But again, like, it was kind of hard to like match the color to it. I added some extra fairy dust and like the wings and stuff. I added some crystals in her like tiara. I think I added those. And then I added in some metallic in here as well, like just to like brighten it up a little bit. Yeah, so it was fine. But I don't know, I think the quality of this canvas overall really soured my view of the piece. And so that's why I gave it a 4 out of 10. And it honestly, it made me not want to do any more Margaret Morales kits as well, because of just so many reasons. So yeah, that's my review of this one. Sorry if you're upset by it. Let me move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one I did was Witches Fall Festival by Runa Marudi. This might be one of my favorite kits. I would say like top 2 or 3 maybe. I don't know. I couldn't rate them if I tried. Of the year. I did this for Drills and Chills this year. So I started September 7th and finished October 10th. I adored this. I think my favorite part about it were the pumpkins. I thought they were charted absolutely, positively, perfectly. I wouldn't change a thing about the pumpkins. I did make some changes, but not very many. So the only thing that I didn't like about this were the way that her mouth was charted originally. That's it. I didn't add anything else. So I basically I closed her mouth and removed some of the extra sparkle that they had put in there, but I loved everything else. I absolutely adored the crystals in the little fairy lights and everything. There was so much background. I did start to tire of it towards the end, but the crystals really kept it interesting and made me really excited to work on each different little section. But yeah, so I loved this. I loved this so much that I fell in love with Runa Marudi in general, and so I now have all of her kits that have come out with Diamond Art Club so far, which is not my typical MO. But I loved her stuff. I loved the way that it was rendered, so it just made me want to do so much more. So, but yeah, so I absolutely love this. Also, 9.5 out of 10. No other thoughts. Moving on. Okay, we're almost done, but we have one more absolute behemoth to talk about. This is upside down, my bad. But this is Hecate by Zarimoth. So we've got some hounds down here, so I'm just gonna kind of pan slowly as I unravel it for you. And we're good. Okay, so these are the beautiful ladies here. So this is also a hybrid charted kit from Jaded Gem Shop. I adore this one. I was really scared that all of the black and blue would take me out, especially at the bottom, but it didn't. It was so much fun. I started this October 11th and then ended it December 7th. It did take me a while because there's a ton of confetti. And I got this at 70 by 100 centimeters. So definitely not as big as Thumbelina was. Thumbelina will still probably forever take the cake on the biggest diamond painting I've ever done. At least for a while too. Let's see. Enjoyment, I give this a 9 out of 10. I did make some changes here and there. Mostly there was some extra sparkles in some of the shadow of the hair, and like I mentioned before, I don't think sparkle should be in shade necessarily. So I did just change out some of the things. I wanted to do a full recharting of the headpieces and whatnot, but after kind of finishing this, or after moving through it, I was like, you know what, it looks fine as it is. So I kind of left it. There was a lot of confetti with the ABs in the sky, which at first I was like, oh, this is going to be annoying, but it was really fun. The biggest drawback that I had was that these glimmer drills, fairy dust drills, however you want to call them, were slightly bigger than everything else. So as I kind of worked from the sky in, because I wanted to really not have to switch out my colors that much until I got here. These drills were slightly bigger, so some of them were really hard to fit in, so I had to do some maneuvering to get them to kind of fit. But other than that, I did not get sick of the 310. There's a lot of 310 and 939 in this, which is black and super dark blue. And I didn't get sick of it. I'm really surprised. There was a lot of trash in it, I will admit, but I don't really care that much about it. I just pick it out and move on. So yeah, this was a 9 out of 10. Would highly recommend. All right, we're almost done. Okay, this next one is going to be probably the easiest thing for you to see. And that is Princess of Stars by La Hark Blue Heart. And I got the pixel charted kit for this from Jaded Gem Shop. And I, once again, absolutely positively adored this. Rosalina, who's the princess pictured here, in case you're not aware, is from Super Mario Galaxy. And I have, we've got some missing drills here. We're gonna have to fix that. But I have some of the best memories playing this game with my sister like in my youth. And I did not change a single thing. I absolutely thought that the charting of this was perfection. The only thing that I changed, there's always something. The only thing I changed is there was one little spot here, like kind of somewhere down here where the little cheek blushes were. And I know that's on the like original art or whatever. But I didn't think it looked great in terms of like being charted in here. And so I just removed that and replaced it with one of the drills that would be around it. But other than that, everything was perfect. There was some trash, but who cares? I gave this a 9.5 out of 10. The border was kind of boring to do, and these light yellow drills kind of seemed to be slightly smaller than some of the other ones, so multi-placing it, I had to kind of make sure that I had to go slow to make sure that I was not getting a superb amount of gaps. Oh, there's another missing drill. Oh, that's not great. That's okay. We can fix it. But anyway, amazing rendering. When did I think I started this December 13th. I thought it was going to take me a while because it's so long. But I finished it December 26th, so it only took me about 2 weeks. And then I was like, oh no, what am I going to do next? But yeah, absolutely loved it. Highly, highly recommend it. And I can't wait for the other Mario princesses to be pixel charted because I would love to do Daisy next. She's my favorite. But yeah, so this was the penultimate finish, I think, the penultimate finish of 2025. So we're almost done. Okay, last but not least, I finished the year with a mini set. Let me see if I can get it out of this bag. But these are the Birthstone minis. This is not gonna, I'm gonna do one by one. These are the Birthstone minis from Shaded Gem Shop. I did not do them in order, so they are just how the way that they are. But there are, each of these are 5.5 by 5.5 centimeters. So they are little tiny babies. There are 12 pieces total. Again, I kept the plastics just to kind of make sure that they don't rub against each other, but it makes it harder to get out, so that's cool. Let's see. I started these October 31st, so this was kind of like my travel kit, if you will, for this year, which can probably show you that I didn't go very many places, but I started this October 31st, and then I finished it December 27th. So I just did like a few at a time, trying to see like where I need to put them to fit it in. 42 colors, 2 metallic drills, and 7 glimmers. So basically it was like the full range of glimmers that Jaded Gem Shop offers, I'm pretty sure. But maybe not the full range. But anyway, they're gorgeous. I absolutely love the metallic borders around the edges and around the gemstones themselves. I loved the glimmer around them. So even if one of the drills did not have a glimmer drill, which I think all of them had at least the white glimmer, they were still beautiful. There was a little bit of crowding. We especially saw that with the yellow again, like we saw with Hecate, but I was able to work around that pretty easily by doing those first and then doing everything else around it. So it worked out pretty well. But other than that, not much to say about these. These are cute. I recommend them if you're into minis and want something to keep you occupied. They're a lot of fun. Those are all of my finishes for 2025. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing my finishes if you watched it. If you would like to see more, we'll see if I make more. We'll see if this even gets posted. Who knows? But until next time, if there's a next time, I'll see you later. Bye.